Hey, this is a political video, so if you're not into that, just skip on another direction. But something has been added to the big beautiful bill, and the opposition to that bill is starting to make some noise and trying to use fear tactics. And I just want to address this, and I have to do so very carefully because this video might get suppressed because of the nature of what I'm talking about. And here's the thing. Within that big beautiful bill is now a provision to remove certain firearm devices from the NFA. And they're doing so on basically a tax technicality. They can do that because the big beautiful bill is budget based. The argument that is being made against this motion is that these firearm devices will allow perpetrators of mass violence to execute their plans more efficiently, quietly, make it harder for law enforcement to respond. Now, there is a legitimate concern there, I do want to acknowledge. And as someone who does actively prepare to respond to those kinds of acts of mass violence, that is a legitimate concern. However, when it comes down to the legalities and the hurdles that the legalities put in the way, here's the thing. Right now, if anyone has a Maglite flashlight or anything similar to this, and a handful of washers, or one of these for your vehicle in your driveway, unused of course, and a little bit of redneck ingenuity, you could easily have one of these devices already for much cheaper than they go for in the market. And a perpetrator of mass violence is not concerned about breaking the laws because that's what they're going to do anyways. So, no, I'm not going to walk somebody through, how to make this work or how to make this work. But that information's already out there. And if someone really wanted to do it, they could do it. No problem. Not a problem. So the current legality of legal hurdle, is what I refer to there, of a tax stamp, is simply inhibiting patriotic Americans from easily obtaining effective devices. Now, I have these in my garage. Oh no, I must be up to no good. Well, as long as they're not affixed to anything and not being used and don't have holes in both ends, then they're originally what they were intended to be. But here's the thing. As a free American, I would like to be able to use these kind of components on my firearms to protect my hearing, to protect the hearing of my children. In fact, it would even allow them to want to shoot more often, to be able to hunt in increasingly more urban environments without disturbing other people, without disturbing other game. There's practical application for why these devices are important, very important. But also up there at the tippy top, and this is the point of the spear of the 2A, the Second Amendment, is that if the government has certain tools and they are considered arms or parts of arms, then according to the Second Amendment, you, me, as the American citizen, should have a right to own and bear those things. Because if a tyrannical regime were coming towards the citizenry should have the means to respond in like manner. So there is a definite tactical application for these devices, and we can't deny that. And ultimately, that's why we want it. Now, we could have it. I could have it right now. But the legal hurdles that I would have to jump personally, not only would I have to fork over extra money on top of buying the components or building or buying one of these devices currently, but I would also have to register that device. And then I would have to develop, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing all this, but a trust that if I were to pass away, that device goes into the right hands, legally speaking. Are you kidding me? I've got to have something in my will about where a device, very similar construction to this, goes when I die, and I've got to pay the government a tax stamp to own something construction-wise almost identical to this. So again, these laws are in place, and these tax stamps are affixed to try to inhibit you and I from easily obtaining these devices, but it ultimately does nothing to keep a criminal or a criminal-minded person from actually obtaining those things themselves. This big, beautiful bill is supposed to go into the Senate, and as I'm following the different reports, it seems like it's going to pass through as long as the Republicans have the balls to do what is right. There is a possibility that another portion can be added that would also address the difference in length barrels of certain firearms and the legalities surrounding that. And I have another video about that. I'll be careful referencing that because I think that video was suppressed because I went from hundreds of views to less than 20 views. Thanks, Google. All right, well, maybe I'll sleep better knowing that I'm getting this out there. Call your senator. I'm going to risk flagging this video saying this. Tell them to ensure that the big, beautiful bill passes with the short act. That's the addition. But then also the Hearing Protection Act in place. The Hearing Protection Act. I have called when it was in the House, and it's pretty cool that there's been kind of a grassroots movement that has caused a stir. We are looking at the NFA being potentially gutted, and that's incredible. That's almost 100 years of draconian, tyrannical rule through tax law that is being addressed. So, again, call your senators, get involved. One channel that I follow very closely for updates on this is Langley Outdoors Academy, as well as Gun Owners of America. So do some searching. The Short Act is what we want added, and the Hearing Protection Act is what has been added, and we want it kept in. I can't believe I'm honestly making this video. This is a big deal. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Or did I say that backwards? I'm sorry. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Take care.